welcome to another episode of Anything and Everything with Donna Lisa. I'm your host, Donna Lisa, and today I have a special guest with me, Cyndi Goodjohn. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. Cyndi, I'll go into a little bit of her background, and then she'll dive a little bit deeper into her background and how she got into what she's involved in today. So Cyndi is actually the CEO of Abella Eyewear. For those of you who do follow me on social media, and you follow my website, you guys will kind of know that I'm a brand ambassador for them. So great products. I've been posting some photos of your sunglasses. I love them, by the way. And I think they're really cute. So Cyndi, her background is actually in special events and weddings, just like myself. And we kind of caught up offline and kind of just got into how you left the special event and wedding world because you started a family and you kind of wanted to get into something that gave you a little bit more freedom, your weekends back, just so you had a little bit more time with your family and your young babies. So Cyndi, yes, thank you so much for doing this. And on such short notice, I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, no, thanks so much. I'm excited to chat.
Yeah, so let's get a little bit into your background. I did mention that you were in the wedding planning industry. And what made you decide, at what point in your career did you decide, I just kind of want to branch off and do something different? And then also how you stumbled across Abella Eyewear and became the future CEO of that.
Yeah. So I mean, as you said, I was in event planning for most of a good chunk of my career, and I loved it. I then, started my own wedding planning business, and I really enjoyed being a part of the special events and seeing everything come together, start to finish. I love that. But I mean, as a kid, I was always the one who was having garage sales. I was always the one who was like typing up my grandma's recipe cards so she could give me cash or, whatever. Lemonade stands, you name it. Like I was always had this entrepreneurial spirit. My dad is an entrepreneur and my husband's an entrepreneur. So I think I've always been inspired by what they do and their ability to get out there. So with event planning, I think we talked about this a little bit. It's, evenings and weekends, and you're there, you're part of these wonderful moments of other people's families.
Right.
And I got pregnant with my first, I thought, no, I need to have a bit more control and flexibility and the ability to be part of my family's special events. So I transitioned into another business in training and development, doing sales training and leadership training, which is a ton of fun. And I sold that in June of 2019, so late 2019. And I just kind of wanted to pause and think about what do I want to do next. I started just kind of talking to as many people as I could, like, what do you do? What do you do? How, what's out there? What are things in the world that we can do? And I discovered Abella. The previous owners were ready to kind of move on and chase their new dreams. But Abella was their baby and they wanted to see it grow. So it was a neat opportunity for me to take on this brand that already had been established and just take it, run with it and grow it. And it's been a great year, even in spite of being a year where it's been COVID and things have been crazy.
So you joined Abella, was it in 2020 or was it in 2019 before the pandemic?
It was it was May, the spring of 2020 when everything closed. So it was like right in the middle of things.
Wow. Okay. And so, I mean, it's great though, because it's not an actual storefront, it's e-commerce. So everything was, you were still able to operate and sell your goods and, provide it to people. And of course, during that time, I knew a ton of people who were doing a ton of online shopping. So it was a great opportunity for you to promote what you have online and on your social media. And that's actually how I stumbled across Abella Eyewear, their social media page, because I was looking at it and I thought, this is like really cool. And these glasses are actually really affordable. And then I got in contact with you for the podcast because I signed up, to be a brand ambassador and sign up for your emails. I received a personal email from you and I was like, oh, this is really neat. Now I know who actually owns the company, and reached out via, I think it was either Instagram or it might've been via email. I probably responded back, but then we connected and you kind of shared your story. And I thought, okay, that's a really cool story to share for people to see, other options out there. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like a bit of an intentional, I thought about it for a while. I mean, Abella was this wonderful brand and, as you said, affordable, trendy, super cute sunglasses. And I kind of hid behind the computer and ran it and I loved it. And I've had such great experiences so far, but I thought, you know, I really need to get out and get in front of it. And I know there's this army of female ambassadors that love the product and they have no one to really connect with. So getting out there, getting in front of the brand, letting people know who I am has been, you know, it's been a great experience so far, but that has been one of the most wonderful pieces in the last bit that I've really enjoyed, connecting with these women, seeing what they're doing, seeing the different audiences that you guys connect with, and then just like being a part of that, the growth and the journey, because each person has their own growth and where they're at with their audiences and growing what they do. So that's been really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you, because I follow the page, the main page and your personal page. And I see there are a ton of different women with different styles that use your eyewear. So it's kind of cool because it's very versatile. So anybody can, there's a style out there for somebody.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice. So do you have plans to kind of grow the business aside from what you're doing now? I mean, do you eventually want to have a storefront? I know you're a busy mom and it's tough to kind of break away and get, you know, time away from the children. And I know your focus is your family right now, but is that something you're looking to do in the future eventually?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is definitely like scale, grow. That's always something that's like on my radar and certainly something that I'd love to see with Abella. I guess in kind of a backwards way, when I acquired the brand, there was a swimwear line as well. And it was Abella Beach. And
okay.
You know, for a while there, I kind of streamlined everything and brought it all over to Abella. And then in the last 6 months or so, I just thought, no, I need to refine, I need to focus, and I know the eyewear, it sells really well, people love it. There's a lot of more logistics and moving parts when it comes to swimwear because of, you know, of different sizing issues and returns and all of that. So so in a backwards way, I've seen growth with the eyewear because I decided to pull back on the swimwear.
Okay.
So never say never, and certainly this coming season, like getting closer to Black Friday and those
right.
times of the year, we're going to bring in some accessories. We're going to bring some more like the one size fits all hair pieces and things like that. So yes, for sure, always focusing on growth, but I was focusing on scaling back a little bit to see the growth in the places I want to see it.
That's actually a really smart idea because a lot of times you never know what's going to take with your business. So you got to try different things. Let's kind of go into, I do want to talk a little bit about your background in entrepreneurship. Obviously you were kind of groomed for this. I mean, my family was in business since I was a kid as well. So you see it every day and it's something that you want to do. Of course, your husband's an entrepreneur. So is it just something like, do you always look for the next business to kind of start and kind of build up? Is that something that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, I think I love the fashion part of it. I love the eyewear. Right. And I also love that it naturally connects to really neat women, and that part I've really enjoyed. But truly, when I acquired Abella, and I acquired it for the business. Like I loved learning a whole new business model. My previous business was in training and development, as I said, and it was I used a personality assessment, but there was no inventory to that. Like we just had it was all digital. I didn't have to worry about logistics. I didn't have to worry about shipping. I didn't have to worry about fulfillment or returns. It was all digital, and that made it simple in some respects. And so moving over to this, I've had such a steep learning curve over the last year, just learning the whole inventory management piece and all the software that kind of works behind the scenes to make everything seamless for me and customers. So that's like running the business, and advertising and learning, all the different tools with Facebook ads and Instagram ads and SEO. Right. So that is the fun part for me. But I mean, of course, who doesn't like sunglasses? Those are fun too.
Yeah. So is it kind of like a new challenge for you? Is that like what you enjoy about it?
Yeah. I mean,
something
I love
completely different.
I'm always looking at the orders. I'm always looking at the sales.
Yeah.
And I love, checking in. I have a support team and just digging into the feedback, making sure that people are happy and making sure that, if it happens, they get a box and there's no sunglasses in it, how sad is that? So making sure that we're on top of, when we tighten up that process, how did it happen, reviewing video footage and making sure like what happened to this order and how can we make sure it doesn't happen again. I love those pieces of it. Like
streamlining the process and the operational side. That's really neat because you're learning a lot. You're learning a ton. Obviously you have a team behind you. Do you have anyone who assists you with your social media or is that all you?
Yeah, right now I do have the support, so obviously I can't respond to every direct message or
Mhm.
every comment. So certainly there's a team that helps with that. But for the most part, well, in the last, I should say, month or so, I'm saying I want to take control of it as I launched my personal Instagram, kind of
Right.
in tandem with that, just making sure that, yeah, the feel of everything is a bit cohesive. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, I'm doing that myself.
Nice. Well, I mean, your team is doing a great job, and I love that like you started your own personal page because it's a great way to connect with your ambassadors, like you said. I always wonder, like when I got involved, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna check it out and see what it's all about because I like the product. And I was wearing the pair that I purchased. I wore on vacation, and I wore it to work. I've had a few friends comment and go, oh, you know what, I love their eyewear too. So yeah, I like that you're getting involved personally with the brand. It's a great way to connect with all your ambassadors and just the people who follow you in general.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I think that's one of the biggest hurdles that I am facing or that I faced acquiring this was that it's not like a well-known brand. So people, when you're scrolling Instagram and you come across the brand, you almost feel like you're taking a leap of faith to make that initial
Right.
purchase. And the return customer rate is phenomenal. People who own their first pair of sunglasses love them and they come back. So that part is like speaks volumes about, like you said, the quality and the styles and wanting more than one pair. But that initial purchase is a difficult one, and I get it. I'm a customer myself. When I scroll through, there's lots of different sunglass providers out
Right.
there by Abella.
So who do you have a design team that comes up with the different styles or is that kind of all you two? Do you collaborate with people?
Yeah, for sure. So I love working with the ambassadors. I
Okay.
love ambassadors who get out there and they connect with me, like yourself. Like this is just so fun. So working with different styles that they may want to. Of course, we start with aviators are selling really well as an
Right.
example. So we might say, here's what's coming up for 2021, 2022. Are, are any of these in line with what you might like? And then we can work from there. We want them to feel heavier. We don't want them to have a nose piece. We want the lens color to be pink or blue. All those different things we can tweak and customize them a little bit. So that is certainly something that I love doing. But when I first took over the brand, I really just looked at their best sellers and I kind of kept it
Hmm.
streamlined and didn't do too much. But we did launch the blue light blockers and the
I saw that.
mommy and me frames on a couple of them just because I have kids and they love matching with me.
Right.
So yeah.
That's cute. And so I love that. I love that you get so involved. You're pretty much involved with the day-to-day operations then,
Oh yeah,
basically.
for
Yeah.
sure.
That's awesome. That's great. So with everybody that is really, really involved, how often do you connect with your ambassadors or your design team to come up with the next design?
More often than I ever would have thought.
Yeah.
It's almost like this always ongoing process. I feel like, obviously different parts of the season, but there's a lot of lead time that goes into it, especially with COVID in terms of, you know, the first the first look and then the samples and then the tweaks and then the adjustments and then we often test. So we'll test them in the market with a small batch and see how they actually
Okay.
sell and then take, if they do, which they always do, no, which is the ones that do, we have to go back and actually, and then there's more logistics into manufacturing, actually getting them ready to
Before
go.
you have the actual final product ready to launch.
So it is quite a process and it's,
Okay.
you like, a couple of SKUs every season for sure. It's nice to keep things fresh and always be launching something new.
Okay.
So it's kind of an ongoing process. There's always a certain stage of where we're at with some style.
That's neat. So I love that. So you're coming up, you actually just hit your 1 year anniversary of
Mhm.
owning Abella Eyewear. That's great. And aside from you adding more styles, you said you're looking to add a little more like accessories, jewelry. Are they like hair accessories, accessories for the body, like just all sorts of different things?
Yeah, nothing's been finalized 100% yet, so it's still like in the vetting process, and we're talking right now, like as we speak. Great, having meetings on it. But yeah, I always start. When I initially took over, I did a big survey with the ambassadors, and then a few months ago, another survey. Always trying to get more feedback about what you would like to see,
Right.
and so our accessories were very high. Um,
Okay.
so trying to find things like that fits in with what demand already is there. Cases is what we added, travel cases, end of last year. And I think they're nice to have, but not anything too crazy.
Right. Okay. And so I always ask my guests this, is there a daily affirmation or quote that you like to start off your day with?
I love that question. I wouldn't say that I wake up every morning and have something that I reflect on. It's probably a good idea, right? And have a sticky note, have it right on your mirror or something like that. My kids, they talk about growth mindset all the time. Their curriculum talks about mindset all the time, and I just love it. So they're always talking about mistakes are a good thing, and the more mistakes you make, you're not so worried about making future mistakes. Just go, just have at it. And have fun, and don't be afraid of the mistakes. So I love that, and I think we talk a lot about it at home. So that's
well, it's a great learning experience too, because you only learn from your mistakes. If everything just went perfect with every business venture that you did, you would never know where you would need to improve, if any. I think we can all learn from our mistakes for sure.
Yeah, it's like easy to want to have things to be perfect before you launch them.
Right.
But it never is perfect. So just start, just do it, just launch and learn from the mistakes. And honestly, if I had what I thought was the next perfect launch, I could probably launch it and think it's perfect. And then in 3 months from now, look back at it and go, well,
right.
Why worry about it being perfect? Just go with it and have fun and learn.
But I like that. I mean, you touched on a really great point, because there are a lot of people who listen or tune into the podcast, and they're scared. Like they want to get into something and venture off and do something that they're passionate about, but they're very scared and afraid to take that leap of faith. So is there like a piece of advice that you have for anybody looking, whether it's just to, I don't know, start like a makeup line or do exactly what you did and just take over a brand and help build it up?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what I would say. Just try, just start, just do something. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to go, jump and have everything happen. It's a slow process. And so if you don't start something small today, then, one small little thing today and another small little thing today, and then all of a sudden you gain momentum, and all of a sudden you have a fully operational business, but you have to start somewhere. You have to take that step. So I think I would say that is to just, and have conversations. I do a lot on my own and have that entrepreneurial spirit, but I have so much support. I have so many conversations. I love networking with other females. I join accelerator programs. I join startup programs. I get involved and have as many conversations, because it's incredible what you can learn from other people, and maybe make less mistakes or just go in a completely different path that you never would have expected. When I first took over Abella, I joined an accelerator program, and it was it was called W Ventures. So it was women entrepreneurs. And I think there's about 20 or 30, and it was quite intense, but it was such a good investment of time. And just, again, the relationships that you build. I was just launching some wholesale products a few weeks ago, and I thought, oh, I know someone who does this. I can just reach out to them on Slack and we can have a conversation. And that's just because of relationship through that program.
That's so true. And you're absolutely right. I think people are afraid to reach out to certain people sometimes, even, say I wanted to get into an eyewear line as well. I would take an average person would be afraid to reach out to you and go, hey, and ask for your advice. But there's been a lot of great support on social media these days, especially during COVID. A lot of people wanting to collaborate together. I've reached out to my personal contacts who are in business, and they've, been able to give me advice. And even just starting the podcast, this was just like a thought 2.5 years ago. And during COVID, I was like, well, you know what? Special events is kind of like on hold right now. Let me just go ahead and finish this project, just get it started. And it's been great. I mean, it's fun. It's a great hobby of mine that I enjoy. And I get to, interview and meet a lot of great entrepreneurs just like you and connect. And I've actually connected a lot of the former guests on my show together, and they've collaborated, which is awesome. So I love that. Yeah, I love that piece of advice. Do you, at any point, do you feel like you will add another business to your portfolio aside from just Abella Eyewear? Because I know I kind of am like you, where you just kind of you need to get involved in more than just one thing.
Yeah. My husband will always push and be like, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? I'm actually more of the like, well, I'm just going to hunker down and make this really good. I like a one track mind here, focus. But it is fun. And I do see now, like I think I was just saying, it doesn't happen overnight. And so to slowly start something on the side and let it percolate and, you know, do a little bit here, but not have it be like, oh my gosh, I have to make this work now because otherwise how am I going to feed my kids?
Right.
That's a whole piece. And that goes to the scary part of everything as well. You know, how we, you still have to pay the bills.
Right. That's true.
So I think, yeah, it makes sense to can always be open to new opportunities, always be looking, always be ready to jump on something else that could be out there. I don't have anything right now, but I do love the ambassadors that I'm working with, and I am seeing with Abella especially, it's a lot of beginner ambassadors that maybe this is their first time they've signed up and they don't really know what to do next.
Right.
A lot of them are awesome and they're dialed in and they know exactly what they're doing, but some are like, how do I monetize my social media platform? How do I actually do this? You know,
right.
It's not just one post and all of a sudden you have referral sales coming in. So I've been working on a small project that's more of an educational piece to go along to help support.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and it kind of ties into the training and development background that I have with leadership and sales training and personality assessments. So that's something I'm working on, but it was more of like this is a way to help ambassadors, not necessarily another business to make money with. But you know, you never know where things go, and so I guess that is sort of percolating in the background.
Well, it's nice to have that, you know, side piece for your ambassadors as well, just to help support your business. So that's great. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. I know what it's like to be a busy, you know, mom and a working mom as well. So thank you so much, Cyndi, for joining us. If people want to reach out to you directly, where can they find you, and what other social media platforms are you on besides Instagram?
I do have Facebook, but it's more of like tied down private. I actually don't go on Facebook that often. I spend most of my time on Instagram. I'd love to figure out TikTok one day, but apparently I'm like aging
myself.
It's
a process. I'm telling you, I have teenagers that help me with that. It's a lot. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm like, I'll work on Reels first. And so Instagram is Cyndi Goodjohn is my handle for there, and Abella Eyewear, obviously. And then my direct email is just Cyndi, which I spell a bit funny, like Cyndi Lauper, Cyndi. And then at AbellaEyewear.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for making time for this, and just, you know, to hopefully inspire just one person, you know, who listens to this podcast. I appreciate you and what you do for Abella Eyewear. I think you're doing great things with it. You have great ideas in the future if you decide to roll those ideas out, and definitely look forward to seeing you continue to grow your business.
Yeah, well, and thanks for being an ambassador, and thanks for taking that leap of faith the first time you tried the eyewear, and I'm glad you've fallen in love with it.
Yeah, and I have seen a few. It's just, you have so many different styles. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I can't go buy all of them. So I'm like picking which ones I want to narrow down for my next purchase. So yeah, I love that you have so many different styles to offer. So yeah, for anybody, you know, watching or tuning in, feel free to go check out Cyndi's Instagram page. She's got a ton of products out there, a lot of great cute styles for any different style that whether you want to go casual, formal, great stuff, cute stuff. So looking forward to all the future ones coming out. Thank you so much, Cyndi.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.